Page 20, page 2386. Political change and legal development. 14th Amendment protect liberty to make contracts. 14th Amendment right to sell labor, purchase it. Right to sell labor is deemed proper as right to purchase. Any legislation that disturbs equality is an interference with the liberty of contract. Brandeis opposed the Supreme Court's doctrine of liberty of contract, a shield businesses from government regulations for freedom to employ and be employed. 14th Amendment, no state shall make any laws depriving any person life, liberty, and property without due process of the law. 13th Amendment prohibits all forms of involuntary servanthood. Picture of the federal FedEx truck. If it's absolutely. Audubon. Pictures of rocks on a beach. Oh. Rocks, there's the rocks on the beach. Page 2387. Picture of a forest. Massive. Bring out your beauty. 14th Amendment creates national citizenship, rights, and protections. Privileges and immunities designated should be understood as natural and unalienable rights to all citizens. Court argued should adopt a broader view of what constitutes commerce, which could be regulated by Congress, on a very grown-up quest for life's meaning. Page 2388. Case number 503 CV008. Miranda rights secured by Constitution involved no rule legislation can abrogate them. Silence can be equated with the fraud where duty to speak. Inquiry left unanswered could be intentionally misleading. Revenue system based on good faith of taxpayer. Taxpayers should be able to expect good faith from government. Lawsuits against federal officials on an individual, not official capacity. Personal involvement in deprivation of constitutional rights is a prerequisite to award of damages. Defendant personally deprived by direct participation failed to remedy wrongs, creation of a policy, gross negligence, managing subordinates who violated. IRS possesses facts of public officials tabled for political ends. Judges who offend IRS with decisions inviting his records to close inspection. Judge made numerous false, misleading statements as a reason for dismissal. Claims regarding income tax are voluntary. Legislative powers of any state can only be exerted in subordination of the fundamental rights, justice in due process, property rights, invasion of highly injurious from power of arbitration sanctioned, property which every man has in his own labor, foundation of all. Picture of 3 men with the U.S. flag. Page 2389. Every man's labor, his property, sacred and inviolable. Patrimony of a poor man lies in the strength and dexterity of his own hands. Hindering poor men from employing his strength in manner he thinks proper without injury to his neighbor is violating his property. Manifestation of encroachment upon liberty of the workmen, those who employ him. States may not impose a charge for enjoyment of the right granted by the Constitution. Pollock versus Farman's Loan, alleged taxing powers, income taxes not authorized by the 16th Amendment. Order violated precedents set by the U.S. Supreme Court in the case. One provision of the Constitution to destroy another. Making clear limitations on taxing power. Never been questioned that the conceded, complete, and all-embracing taxing power was limited. Not contended that this amendment rendered anything taxable was income that was not so taxable before. 16th Amendment conferred no new power of taxation. Court case numbers, names, dates on pages. Independence that drives successful America. Page 2390. Pictures of a beach with 2 chairs. A debate club. A novel. Schools where the elite meet. Intelligence report. Is medicine making you sick? Bad reactions to prescriptions cause 1.5 million hospital visits a year. 100,000 deaths pre-2010. Many doctors don't know side effects. Lowering dose can often prevent lasting damage. Liberty and Justice, page 82. Magistrates who exercise sovereign power over rights encroached upon. It was not necessary to load the Constitution with this provision because it was not found effective in some states. Incorporated into the Constitution, independent tribunals of justice will consider themselves guardians of those rights. Impenetrable bulwark against power in legislation, they will resist every right stipulated in Declaration of Rights. State legislatures will jealously and closely watch operations of government opposing people's liberty, job of the state, new proposal to be incorporated to the system of government. September 25, 1789, resolution for adding a Bill of Rights. State having the Constitution at the time of adoption expresses desire that further clauses should be added as extending public confidence. Resolved by the Senate, the House of 43 of both houses to concur that the articles as amended to the Constitution, 12 articles profused, 10 were adapted, proposed. Page 2391, Liberty and Justice. First 10 amendments, articles. Article 1 about religion, free speech, free to assemble, press to petition the government. Article 2, militia, right to bear arms. Article 3, soldiers quartered in a house, consent of owner. Article 4, secure in your home against unreasonable seizures. Article 5, held without indictment for a crime or witness against himself. Article 6, criminal prosecutions, right to speedy trial, public trial by jury, have assistance for counsel for defense. Article 7, common lawsuits were valued more than $20 had a right to trial by jury. No fact tried by a jury shall be otherwise reexamined in any court. Article 8, excessive bail shall not be required, nor fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Article 10, powers not delegated to the U.S. by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to state or the people. Diversity. Live longer, better, wiser. Pursue your passion. Go out on the high road. Note. Voices, courses, Thrive, designed to give survival business a boost. Preparing your business for the unthinkable. 2006, most conservativeness. Data sheets from pharmacies and unregulated. Advice: assume any new symptom is related to a drug, even if it bears no relation to why you're taking it. Some drugs mimic diseases like Parkinson's, insomnia, depression, all common side effects. Changing the dose, time of day may help. Worstpills.org on the internet in 2023. Page 2392. List of Supreme Court cases in 1934 to 36. Liberty and Justice, page 426. Court broadened interpretation of the federal taxing power. Social Security Act of 1935 passed for national assistance for old age, sickness, and unemployment. Constitutional base for Social Security: Congress, broad power to tax for general welfare. Years passed, judges retired. Commerce and taxing decisions. 5. Judges appointed of Roosevelt couldn't continue to sustain the New Deal measures. Roosevelt Court continued to sustain New Deal measures. Labor union restricts. Suppressed a free competitive market by monopolizing supply and controlling prices. Discriminating. Who could purchase? Antitrust laws. Union activities. Remove union activity from the threat of liability. Yellow dog contracts where people were not hired because of union affiliations. Interstate activities made Congress determine commerce demand uniform regulation. Page 2393. List of Supreme Court cases 1936 and 37. A true test of whether activists could be regulated by Congress under the commerce power. Commerce power is as broad as the economic needs of a nation. Court upheld federal authority over coal, natural gas, navigable streams, and public utilities. Roosevelt Court reversed a long-standing practice of intergovernmental tax immunity. State income tax levied on a federal employee. Court looked with favor on new types of state taxation. Permissible areas of state police power were expanded. President's power over all international affairs did not require an act of Congress to exercise. Page 2394. Outlook 2007 Money and Business Inventory Guide. Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit. Create income for today, leave a legacy for tomorrow. Contributors, what is on your wish list? My friends, think it's not hard. Gold makes the moment yours. Picture of gold coins and bars. Credit Suisse Bank of Switzerland, 1 ounce of gold bars, 9,999 pure 24 karat gold. Royal Canadian Mint, 1 ounce gold bars. Gold bar sizes available, 10 ounce Swiss. Motivation for holding large reserves: to ensure against currency crisis. List 10 top gold reserves in countries. Value, increase in value, 2002, 5, and 6. China, Japan, top, largest amount above all the rest. Page 2695. List of gold available by country. Gold bullion bars offered at a lower price, even gold coins, over gold coins. Northwest Territory Mint offers variety of gold bars. Not hard to find people in need, they're everywhere. Man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Oliver Wendell Holmes. Picture of a cassette. 3 W's. Survey says, Scripture, Leviticus 19:17, Mark 12:31, love your neighbor as yourself. Page 2696, a 2-week plan that reprograms your mind to lose. Picture of ice cream cone. Picture of a sailboat. To all. Gateway to freedom. God's government is a government of wealth, creation, prosperity, responsibility. Man's government has turned us into a criminal society. Over 50% of the population is on government assistance. Scripture, Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not be in want. Scripture, Psalms 37:27. Turn from evil and do good, because they take refuge in him. Who is defending the Constitution anymore? Strength of the Constitution is entirely in the determination of each citizen to defend it. Albert Einstein. Public servants are supposed to defend the Constitution. We see them trying to abolish fast as they can the Constitution's primary function to put limitations on government. Constitution founded in the wisdom of God. Common law court, U.S. Supreme Court, sometimes doubles as a constitutional issues. Constitution of the United States Articles. Page 2397. Constitution. Secure rights will be served, protected, and upheld. Informed jury. Greyhound bus lines. Army records. Numbers in French. Scripture, Numbers 23:19. We can tell others salvation is ours. No question, he will do what he said. Scripture, Hebrews 10:25. Let us not neglect. Page 2398. Hawaiian Punch label. A political challenge to AA. Thanksgiving sale. Wish list for new director, aims high. Spring cleanup sale. Next step. U.S. Tax Code online. Complete text of the U.S. IRS Code. Electric. Page 2399. Picture of a budget gourmet noodles. IRS Code online. Process and navigation. Search code. Page 2400. Tilling the soil with trusty tips. A call to persevere. The Almighty is often hidden in plain sight. Planting for bloomers. Failure to prove U.S. jurisdiction law. List of tips. Bible contains 1,700 pages. Nurturing a spirit. Scripture, Amos 6:12. Perverted justice flies in the face of common human wisdom. Common strengths outstanding leaders share. Dreaming. Never let go of a dream until you're ready to wake up. Make it happen. Goal setting. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Know what you want and where you're going. Influencing essence of all power to influence lies in getting other person to participate. Page 2401. Imperative thinking, checklist of ways people think imperatively. Tend to think worst when problems arise. Rather live within predictable guidelines than try the next warp. 3 or more statements checked. Imperative thinking is causing you to worry. Imperative thinking also drives guilt. Imperative thinking causes false guilt. Perfection is byproduct of imperative thinking, and no one is perfect. False guilt is one of the most destructive emotions. Imperative people's inner standards can be so impossible, appeasing their conscience when the wrongdoing occurs. Their inner voice commands them to do more. True guilt promotes responsible living, healthy accountability. Accept forgiveness from God and the ones wronged. Healthy responses to guilt regains acceptance of ourselves with imperfections. Imperative people have difficulty with acceptance. Imperative people fit into a mold, wanting you to perform properly or else. Strengths outstanding leaders share. People do not care how much you know till they know how much you care. Strength. List of successful people, personal organization, prioritizing, problem solving. Risk-taking, decision-making, creativity, valuation. Rate for yourself 1 to forgive. Picture of a good people. The person who knows how will always have a job. The person who knows why will always be the boss. Page 2402. Picture of a pup with binoculars. Asthma bothering you? Where would you go with more symptoms-free days? Breathing is believing. The Declaration of Independence points from England. For transporting us begins beyond the seas to be tried for pretended offenses. D of I for introducing obstacles, absolute rule in these colonies, taking away our charters, abolishing our most valuable laws, altering forms of our government. Department of I for suspending our legislature, declaring themselves investing power to legislate for us in all cases. D of I waged war against us, plundered, ravaged, destroyed lives. Prince, whose character's a tyrant, useful to be a ruler of the free people, unfit to be a ruler of the free people. Page 2403. P.I. warned them about attempting unwarranted jurisdiction over us. We hold them enemies in war. These states, free and independent, absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, totally dissolved. John Hancock, list of states, their representatives on the D of I, anxious before surgery. Page 2404. Duty to throw off such government. History of King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries, usurpations, illegal claims to power, tyranny over the states. List of grievances against the king. Labor-ready time ticket. May integrate more easily. Hope to road work reform. Development planned giving. Judges picked to decide fate. Page 2405. A list of grievances against the king. Names, people who signed. Cutting off trade with all parts of the world. Imposing taxes on us without our consent. A woman. Consistent delivery is hand in hand for you. Disappointments, no static about it. Update independence. Right, unite to fight federal limits. Urge conservation. Depriving us of trial by jury. Changes his name. Picture of President Bush, his wife, waving. Page 2406. Section 501, exemption from tax on corporations, certain trusts, statutes, Internal Revenue Code, Title 26, Subtitle A, Chapter 1. Page 2407. Title 26, Subtitle A, Chapter 1, Internal Revenue Code. Page 2408. Picture of a dog. Picture of a blue sky. Pursue excellence. Do you believe the Constitution is still the supreme law of the land? The individual is handicapped by coming face to face with a conspiracy so monstrous he cannot believe it exists. J. Edgar Hoover. Power is so organized, subtle, watchful, interlocking, pervasive, better not speak above a thin breath when speaking in condemnation of it. Woodrow Wilson. March 4th, 1865, Abraham Lincoln, with malice towards none, charity for all, inaugural address. Scripture, John 15:19, they will persecute you because you belong to me. Names, song titles. Insurance types. Pending bill makes it easier to seek redress. Fight agencies asset seizures. Getting serious about their weight. Store inventory. Abe Lincoln said in a speech, "This nation, under God, shall have a new freedom." Founding fathers referred to God in every document they wrote. Put pressure on Congress to bring God back into government. Attorneys are the problem. The U.S. has 2.67 lawyers for every 1,000 people. Japan has 1 lawyer per 100,000 people. Pre-2010. 2/3 of the world's lawyers live in the United States, but we only have 6% of the world's population. One useless man is a disgrace. 2 or more is called a law firm. John Adams, 1776. Hop off the roller coaster, body and serious. George Washington words. Why are wealthy Americans fleeing the country? Page 2409. Campbell's Soup moved to Ireland. Ford Motor to the Bahamas. Carnival Cruise moved to Israel. A picture of a popsicle. Picture of a couple on the beach. Picture of a hat. May 1st, 2002, person ran for Arizona. Congress. George Washington, just government protects religious rights. True religion affords government support. Founding Fathers, God, Constitution. Weight loss game. Americans surviving on borrowed money. America is a Christian nation. Government big enough to supply everything you need is big enough to take everything you have. The more numerous the laws, the more corrupt the government. Tacitus, 100 AD. Worldwide, there is nearly 1 cubic mile of law written. Tourist sites list Minnesota and Missouri. 85% of Americans who vehemently comply, says Nebraska Senator Bob Kerrey, leading Democrat advocate of the IRS overhaul. Paradox, we do not want to surrender our voluntary system. Patrick Henry, disposed of all my property to my family, which I could give them Christian religion, rich with it, poor without it. Rothschild Family Trust owns over half of the central banks in the world, controls most countries in the world. Asset seizures, often told tales of the taxpayer versus the IRS. IRS wins. Reform needed. Deadbeats.